start na tayo, guys. May hawak po ako oo nga po, wait lang. So, start na tayo. So, good morning, everyone. Before we start, may I request to please bow our head and close our eyes for the opening prayer. Praise the Lord, glory to God. We thank you, our Father in heaven, for giving each one of us a new life today. Forgive us for our shortcomings and sins. We are grateful for the fresh strength and wisdom this morning. We pray in all today. We pray that in all we do today, you equip us with heavenly wisdom so that everything we learn may resonate in our hearts and minds. Bless each one of us, O God, in the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
Alright, so good day everybody. Before we start, I'd like to do two things. And the first one is I'd like to introduce ourselves. So me, I am Jan Axel Pakatang. There's also our outstanding leader, Miss Lorraine Zata, John Patrick A. Escalicas, Laika Garino, Eliza Lalaine Marikina, Jan Angelo Eugenio, Dan Derek Fernandez, and Princess Ed Maricuyos. And the other one is I'd like to give a brief context. So, sa nakikita nyo dito, ang topic po namin is 4 major principles of human development. Pero, ano nga po ba yan? So, simulan po natin from the very start, which is the human development. Human development refers to the process of growth and change that occurs throughout a person's life. And masabi rin dito, or sabi ng iba, human development is a lifelong process that starts from infancy and continues through old age. Sa madaling salita po, growth and development ay nagsisimula sa kapanganakan at nagtatapos sa kamatayan. At sa buhay po ng isang tao, meron po siyang life stages na may nakalakip na hamon at opportunities para umunlad. And yung statement po na to is nagre-refer po siya sa dalawang psychological theory, si cognitive development and si psychosocial development. So, focus muna tayo kay challenges. So, sa challenges po, nare-refer po nito yung psychosocial development. And according to psychosocial development, nahahati po ang buhay ng tao sa 8 stages. And each stages is may nakaakibat po na conflict or hamon na kailangan tuunan ng pansin. For example po, si infancy meron trust versus mistrust. So, developing trust when caregivers provide reliability, care, and affection. Let's say po, for example, si baby is nalayo po sa nanay. And karaniwan naman na po siguro yon na ang bata is nagsisimulang maging malapit sa kababaihan. And sa lagay nun, syempre si nanay. And may ibang bata na malayo lang ng onti sa ina is iiyak. Palagay natin, from nanay, na masabi ng bata na pinagkakatiwalaan niya, ipapasa kay lola. Bihira makita. Parang ganun po, iiyak po siya. And sa early childhood naman po, meron tayong autonomy versus shame and doubt. Sa late childhood po, hahatiin natin sila sa dalawa. Sa preschool po, na may conflict na initiative versus guilt. And school age naman po na may industry versus inferiority. So, hindi ko na po gaano papalawakin kasi topic po ng ibang grupo to. So that's all for challenges. Ngayon di tayo kay opportunities for growth na nagre-refer naman po sa cognitive development theory by John Piaget. Cognitive development theory po outlines how children's thinking evolves in stages as they grows. So, mahahati po sa 4 na stages. Yung sensory motor stage na nagsisimula sa kapanganakan hanggang 2 years. And according kay sensory motor stage, infants learn about the world throughout their senses and actions. So, paano po ba yan? Let's say po for example, sense of taste po. Natukoy po ng bata yung gusto nila at sa hindi. And kadalasan po si baby or mga infant, ang karaniwang nalalasahan lang po nila is yung tawag dito, yung matatamis. And syempre, dislike nila dyan, yung mapapait. Parang ganun po. Then, second stage po, meron tayong pre-operational stage. 2 to 7 years of age. Where children begins to use language and think symbolically. Yet their thinking is still intuitive and egocentric. So, language and think symbolically. So, we could say that 2 years yung bata po is marunong na magsalita. And by thinking symbolically po, prepare po natin to sa siguro pa balik po tayo sa pagkabata natin. Like, example po, si nanay or si tatay may dalang pamalo. So, yung pamalo po na yon, magpipik siya ng fear sa bata. Kasi, alam nila kung kapag ganito, pamalo, and kung tumama sa'yo, masasaktan ka. So, sinisimbolize nila yung pamalo na yon as sense of danger. Parang ganun po. So, dito naman tayo kay intuitive. So, ano po ba ibig sabihin intuitive? Intuitive means having the ability to understand something instinctively without the need for conscious reasoning. So, ang characteristics po ni intuitive is nagbe-base po siya instincts and often associated po siya sa creativity, empathy, and emotional intelligence po ng isang tao. So, let's say po, for example, parang katulad ng kanina. Pero, kuha tayo ng ibang perspective. Palagay natin, dalawang magkaibigang bata. Yung isa is medyo observant siya dun sa isa naman na medyo makulit, masabi natin na ganun. And yung mga bata, alam na natin na playful sila. So, ito siguro common naman to, kahit medyo weird. Pero in reality, common siya. Bata, naglalaro ng apoy. And kadalasan kapag naglaro po ng apoy, yung mga walang muwang na bata, naglilid po siya in pain. Napapaso po sila. So, if si bata number 1, nakita niyo si bata number 2 na nasaktan, instinctive po na iiwasan niyo yun. Kumbaga parang ano po yan. Refer natin siya sa perspective natin. Ito, sa ganitong edad po. Let's say po for example, balak niyo pumunta ng mall. Sa mall po is, pagpalagay natin may terrorist attack. Pupunta pa po ba kayo? Kahit hindi niyo po isipin, medyo may alangan na eh. So medyo may alangan na siya. So dito naman po tayo kay egocentric. Egocentric means preoccupied with oneself, considering oneself to be the center of the universe. So ibig sabihin po nito, wala tayo ng empathy. Pakiramdam po natin nakapokus lang yung mundo sa atin. Sabihin po niya, hindi natin naiintindihan yung side ni ganito, perspective ni ganyan, at yung pananaw ni ganito. And often po, may lalagay natin to sa selfishness, arrogance, and yun nga, lack of empathy. So, ngayon, lipat tayo kay concrete operational stage na mag-i-start from 7 and magtatapos to 11 years old. It is the stage where children starts to think logically about concrete events. So, think logically po. Ano po ba ibig sabihin ni thinking logically? So, let's say po for example, kukuha ka po ng dalawang two statement that is a fact in order to form another. So, sabihin natin na ganito. Lahat ng tao ay may karapatan. And pagpalagay natin, si Laika ay isang tao. Therefore, masasabi natin na si Laika is may karapatan. Parang ganyan po yan. So, and last one po, para dito kay cognitive development, is yung formal operational stage. Nag-i-start po siya ng adolescent stage, 12 years old po yon, to adulthood, hanggang pagtanda na po. So, ito na po yung development po ng ating abstract reasoning and hypothetical thinking. And often po niyan, nagre-refer na po tayo sa mga pangyayari or mga mangyayari pa lang. Let's say for example, abstract reasoning, mag-base ka kunyari sa history, sa natutunan mo. Kadalasan po niyan is si pagkakamali. Kaya po sinasabi nila, mistakes could make you better. Kasi po, pag nagkamali kayo sa isang bagay, palagay po natin na experiment about electronics. Yung paggagamitin ko kasi, ayun po yung major ko. Palagay po natin nag-short and may nasunog po. And since alam mo na nasunog yun, alam mo yung risk, and alam mo na kung paano nangyari yun. Therefore, hindi mo na siya gagawin. So, bali from abstract reasoning, magde-derive ka po ngayon ng sarili mong hypothetical thinking. So, yun po yun. Nangyari na, and ano po yung maaaring mangyari. So, ganun lang po siya. And sa dalawang psychological theory po na yan, yung sa cognitive development and sa psychosocial development, meron pa pong last psychological theory na associated dito sa dalawa. And ito po si social culture theory ng cognitive development by Lev Vygotsky. So, sinabi ko po kanina, merong challenges and meron growth opportunities. So, in order to make that effective, papasok po dyan si Lev Vygotsky na nagsaserve naman po as a support. So, social cultural theory po emphasizes the fundamental role of social interaction in the development of cognition. And ano nga ba si cognition? Cognition is the mental process involved in gaining knowledge and comprehension. Sample po niya si pag-iisip, pag-alam, pag-alala, judging, and problem solving. And ang key concept po ng theory na to is si ZPD, Zone of Proximal Development, na tinatalakay naman niya po yung pagkakaiba na kayang gawin ng bata independently at ano pa yung kaya nilang gawin with the help ng isa pang mas matalino. And next one po si MKO, More Knowledgeable Other. Refers to someone who has a better understanding or a higher ability level than the learning, providing guidance and support. So almost the same po. But this time, guidance na po siya. So support pa rin. And last one, scaffolding. Support given to a child that is tailored to their needs and gradually removed as they become more competent. So example po nito is, balik po tayo sa elementary. Hindi ko lang po sure kung anong exactly grade level ng mga bata. Pero meron parang point dyan na parang hinahayaan lang nila dito, sa klase, parang 3 hours lang po yung pwede pasukan ng mga batang to. And The more po na tumataas yung grade level ng bata is nadadagdagan din po yung responsibilities, yung subject, and time po na ginugugol nila sa pag-aaral. So, and the more po na tumataas yung grade level po, and medyo para naging independent na po tayo, nababawasan po yung support ang binibigay ni teacher. Although may observation pa rin, syempre kailangan ng teacher yan. So basically, ayun lang po para kay human development. Challenges, opportunities for growth, and the support. So ngayon, moving on po tayo dito sa 4 major principles of human development. Masabi po natin na sa human development po is makategorize po natin siya into 4. And yung 4 po na yan is si blank, si blank, si blank, and si blank. So, di ko po sinabi kasi, ayan po, kailangan nyo po hulaan. So, please everyone, try to complete the word. Kahit sa text box na lang. Okay. So, Mr. Ethan po.
Physical development.
So, okay po. Physical development. So, physical development. Ayan. The growth and changes in the body and its systems. Na mahati po natin yan into 4 major parts. Ay, 3 lang pala. So, growth, maturation, and motor skills. So, dito muna tayo kay growth. Ano bang ibig sabihin ni growth? Ay, wait pala. Balik tayo dito. Bago ko po ituloy, pag sinabi mong physical development, ano po yung word or ato na pumapasok sa utak niyo kapag nabasa niyo po siya? Kahit sa chat box na lang po. Pakitype. So, palagay po natin, appearance. Ayan po, 1 po yan. So, meron pa po ba kayong idea? Or word po na pumapasok sa utak nyo whenever naririnig nyo po si physical development? So, okay, medyo changes physically. Ayan, tama, changes. Pagbabago ng katawan. Ayan, tama po yan. So, okay. Proceed tayo dito. So, sabi ko nga kanina, makategorize po natin siya into 3 major parts. Growth, maturation, and motor skills. But for now, let's focus po dito sa growth. So, growth po, the increase in size or mass, often measured in terms of height, weight, and head circumference. Growth po is a physical aspect of maturation. And like for example po, yung paglaki po ng utak ng isang bata is malaki po yung pagbabago niya. I mean, at the early stage po ng bata, mabilis po yung paglaki ng utak nila. Parang ganun po. Example lang po. And marerelate po natin si growth kay psychoanalytic theory by Sigmund Freud. Ngayon, ano po ba si psychoanalytic theory? Or dito psychoanalytic theory po, ang personality po ng isang tao is masabi natin na mahati sa 3 primary components. Si id, si ego, and super ego. So, ano po ba si id? Si id po is driven by desires. Parang ano po siya? The I want part of me or you. And si ego naman po, practical and balances desires. Desires po, desires with reality. The I can po, I can. Kaya kong gawin. And the super ego, the I should part. So, dinadamay po nito si moral compass and konsensya. Ayun po, parang isipin nyo siguro, medyo anong connection nito kay physical development? So, ito po yun. Let's say po, for example, trauma. Physical development is influenced by psychological factors such as attachment styles and trauma. So maraming research po na nagsasabi na merong connection si trauma po sa paglaki ng isang bata. So let's say po for example, yung siguro napanood niyo naman na po yung mga documentary na parang nabubugbog po ng mga nanay, then nakikita niyo po yung pagkakaiba ng appearance ng mga taon to sa iba. Hindi naman po sa dinidiscriminate ko, pero ayun po, medyo makikita niyo po. And isa pa dun na sinabi ko is attachment styles po. For example, lifestyle po ng tao. Siguro po, aware po pa kayo sa, sa mga Chinese na tao na laging umiinom po ng mainit na tubig. Okay, medyo mga aware naman po kayo. And siguro pa mapapansin nyo na rin, karaniwan po sa mga Chinese is payat. So, part po ng lifestyle nila yon na naapektuhan po yung growth nila. So, na-observe nyo po ba? So, okay. Hayaan na natin dyan si psychoanalytic theory. Ngayon, lipat naman tayo dito kay ecological systems theory by Yuri Bronfenbrenner. So, according po sa theory na to, development occurs within a complex system of interconnected environments. And yung environments po na yan is mahahati po kay prosystem na immediate environment po. Si family, si school, and peers. And si mesosystem na interaction naman po siya between microsystem, interaction po between family, and schools, or peers. And the third one, si exosystem na broader societal influences naman po, social and cultural environment. And last one, si macrosystem. Cultural, historical, political, and economic context naman na po siya. So, paano po natin ma-relate niya sa physical development? So, let's say po for example, sa kinakain ng tao, napapansin niyo na po ba na palagay po natin ng elementary kayo? Pansinin niyo po yung kinakain niyo or mabibili niyong pagkain sa school and sa bahay niyo po. So, mag-describe po kayo. Kunyari po, sa school, pagpalagay natin may lugaw kunyari, ganyan. Then, sa bahay niyo, pagpalagay natin full meal po. Kasi sa school, kadalasan medyo snacks lang po yung nakakain natin di ba? And pagkain po is malaki po yung apekto niya sa growth ng isang tao. Compare po natin, tingin po kayo sa mga medyo katangkaran ng mga lahi. Pagpalagay po natin Amerikano and compare po natin sa atin mga Pilipino. So sa mga Pilipino po, ang often na pagkain natin is more on carbs. Siguro, ganun din naman sa inyo, papansin nyo. And sa Amerika, more on gluten sila and protein. Kaya, ang tatangkad nila and malalaki yung katawan unlike sa atin. So, gets nyo po ba? So, I think that's all po for the growth and I'd like to call Ms. Marikina po to proceed.
Okay, thank you for your for presenting and for the introduction. So let's proceed for maturation. So when we say maturation, it's a natural process of physical and mental development over time. It is largely determined by genetic factors and occurs according to the predetermined sequence. So when we say maturation daw po, it is a process of physical and mental development over time. So, ito pong maturation is i-include po siya as the years goes by. Kumbaga, yung way of thinking po natin is parang nagkakaroon ng changes or sudden changes. So, just for example, is a child will typically begin to crawl at a certain age regardless of external factors. So, sa example po natin is yung let's just say may bata daw po na biglang parang iiyak. So, 'di ba usually tayo kung mapapansin natin nung mga bata tayo, usually iyakin talaga tayo. Kumbaga, may mga bagay tayo na gusto na hindi natin nakukuha. So, parang ang gusto natin talaga is gusto ko 'yan. So, parang ipagpipilitan natin. So, dun din pumapasok yung maturation na 'pag as the years goes by nga po, ayun nga, nagbabago yung emotion natin, kumbaga, at pag tumundong tayo sa mga teenage years, so kumbaga, medyo nag-iiba or nag-change yung way of thinking natin, like parang nalalaman na natin kung ano yung mga mali at yung tama. So, there's a maturationist theory. So, physical and cognitive development unfold according to predetermined sequence and experiences play a limited role. So, yung like yung sinabi ko nga po dito, dito pumapasok yung kumbaga nasa way of process siya or yung sequence na kumbaga nag-iiba-iba yung mga limited role natin, yung na-experience natin from pagkabata up to naging adult na. So, development is primarily developed by biological factors and genetic predispositions. So, physical growth and development follow a predetermined sequence, largely unaffected by environmental factors. So, just for example, is a child will learn to walk at a specific age regardless of external influences. So, dun pa lang from the age na yung bata nag-start na siyang maglakad. So, kumbaga nare-recognize na natin yung influences ng mga tao sa environment natin. Like halimbawa, nakikita ng bata na naglalakad yung mga nakakatanda sa kanya. So, kumbaga doon may explore niya na kumbaga papasok din sa isip niya, gusto ko rin matutong maglakad. So, ganun. So, according to Arnold Giselle theory, it emphasizes that physical development follows a predictable sequence and is largely driven by genetic factors. So, according daw po kay Arnold Giselle, na naniniwala siya na ang maturation is a primary force behind development and environmental influences play as a secondary role. So, in cognitive development theory, dun pumapasok yung how a person actively construct their understanding of the world through exploration and interaction. So, ayun nga po, like, ano po yung connecta ng cognitive development theory do sa maturanist theory po natin? Ibig sabihin po, sa matured role, kumbaga parang doon pumapasok yung, or kumbaga nag-engage yung mga from sa mga bata, di ba? Parang doon pumapasok yung understanding nila, kumbaga parang doon nagkakaroon sila ng explore and interaction, like parang nakikita nila yung may na-amaze sila sa mga bagay-bagay. Kumbaga sa mga bata na-amaze sila na pag may nakita sila, parang gusto nilang gawin or like gusto nilang makita, gusto nilang hawakan. So, doon pumapasok yung understanding or yung cognitive development theory sa pagiging ma-explore or mahilig silang maka-interact. So, in cognitive development, it is a series of stages characterized by distinct ways of thinking. So, in physical development is linked to cognitive abilities. So, it's nakalink daw po yung physical development sa cognitive abilities. So, just for example, a child must develop object permanence. So, before they can crawl or walk. So, understanding that the objects exist even when not seen. So, kung halimbawa po, naglagay po tayo ng baso sa ilalim ng tela or pero wala naman, kumbaga parang ang ini-expect nila kumbaga parang may lobo pero kumbaga parang makikita nila na parang may laman. Pero pag tinignan naman nila, it's parang pag inopen nila, magugulat sila na parang wala. So, parang dun pa lang papasok na yung yung ano, physical and development or yung cognitive abilities ng mga bata. So, while Piaget is best known for his work on cognitive development, he also acknowledged the role of physical maturation in enabling new cognitive abilities. Just for instance, the development of motor skills in infancy allow for exploration and learning about the environment. So, sabi nga po dyan sa uh, yung development of motor skills like yung baby. Di ba napapansin natin yung mga baby, mahilig silang from the age of 0 to 2 months, di ba? Parang pag 2 months, hindi pa sila masyadong malikot. Like, pag nandun na sila sa stage ng 3 months hanggang pataas, doon na pumapasok yung dumadapa na sila, like, parang malikot na sila. So, ayun po. So, pumunta naman po tayo doon sa motor skills. So, motor skills is the ability to control and coordinate body movements. They are divided into 2 categories: gross motor skills. So, when we say gross motor skills, it involves large muscle groups such as walking, running, jumping, and throwing. So, sa gross motor skills daw po, dyan pumapasok yung nade-develop na nila yung natututo na silang maglakad, tumakbo, tumalon, and even yung pagbato ng mga bagay. So, doon na daw po pumapasok yung mga body movements like na napapagdaanan ng isang tao in every stage of life. So, next is the fine motor skills. So, it involves small muscle groups such as grasping, pitching, and writing. So, dun po sa fine motor skills, natututo yung isang tao like grasp. Pag parang nagugulat ka na lang, like parang hindi mo unexpected na nangyayari. So, yung pinching naman, parang nagugulat ka na parang may biglang hahawak sa'yo or yung pipisal sa'yo, even though yung writing. So, let's just proceed to social-cultural theory. So, how someone learn through social interactions with more knowledgeable others or scaffolding, and how cultural tools and practices influence cognitive development. So, in development is influenced by social interaction and cultural factors. So, in cultural beliefs and practices, it can shape physical development. For example, in some cultures, infants are carried in their mother's back, which can influence their motor development. Being carried on the back allows infants to develop their muscles and balance as they adjust to the movements of their mothers. So, just sa example po, parang merong, yung baby tayo, di ba, may iba-iba tayong position na ginagawa sa atin yung mga nanay natin kung paano nila tayo binubuhat. So, yung sinasabi dito sa example is yung mothers carries, kumbaga parang nilalagay tayo sa likod. So, parang meron silang pan-support na ginagamit. So, alam ko sa parang parang country ng India, parang doon ko nakita yung culture na ganun, na parang nabasa ko sa isang documentary na yung mga nanay doon, kumbaga parang sabi nga nila na kaya nila nilalagay sa likod yung anak nila is kumbaga parang para matuto na mag-balance, like parang matuto yung kung paano nila ma-handle yung position nila, kumbaga parang kung paano nila matututong i-balance yung sarili nila habang nasa likod sila ng kanilang mga nanay. So kumbaga doon, sabi nga, doon sa ginagawa nilang yun, nadidevelop yung mga muscles and balance ng movements din ng mga nanay. So, kumbaga parang mas nagiging productive siguro sila kapag gano'n yung ginagawa nila. So, according to Vygotsky theory or Lev Vygotsky, it's highlights the importance of social interactions and cultural tools in development. So, kumbaga, um, sa dun pa lang parang mare-realize na natin kung ano yung importance ng pakikisama sa iba't ibang tao. Kumbaga parang in physical development nga daw po, it's seen as intertwined with social and cultural experiences which shape how children learn to use their bodies and develop motor skills. So, using physical development daw po na kung paano tayo makikisama. Kumbaga parang yung mga bata matututo sila kung paano nila gagamitin yung bawat kilos nila, like paano made-develop yung mga muscles nila. Kumbaga parang sa palagay ko, kung sa tulong nun, magkakaroon sila ng lakas. Kumbaga may kakaibang lakas sila kung paano nila gagamitin yung mga like yung pag naglakad sila, paano nila like kung paano nila magagawa or yung paano nila isa sa ayos yung mga movements nila, like yun, kumbaga parang matututo sila kung paano nila iaayos yung changes or yung mga position nila. So, kung paano nila, like just, yung walking nila, running, kumbaga doon pa lang, makikita na natin yung sa isang bata, di ba? Kapag na-realize nila, natuto sila makisama sa tao, kumbaga curious din sila kung ano yung mga ginagawa ng isang tao. Kumbaga, doon papasok na gusto ko din gawin yon and gusto ko rin matuto. So, sa tulong ng cultural experiences, mas madedevelop nila yun. So, onion lang po yung sa akin. So, let's proceed po sa next presenter.
Thank you, Miss Marikina and Mr. Axel for your discussion earlier. So, can you please go to the next slide, please? So, and without further ado, let's continue to the next principle. To the next. Okay. So, ayan, si Mr. Fernandez is nagsagot na agad. So, the next major principle of human development is the mental development. Okay, so next slide, please. So, the mental development or the growth of the mind involves the process of both the cognitive and the emotional advancements people go through over their lifetimes. This includes the advancement of their logical thinking, the problem solving, and the comprehension of complex concepts. So, it is often influenced by different factors such as the social interactions, the education, and the life experience they go through. So katulad nga ng mga sinabi nila kanina, there are many theories about the cognitive development. So next slide, please. So ayan. So cognitive development, just like they said, cognitive development has many theories involved. So one of these significant concepts is now about the cognitive development of Jean Piaget, a psychologist who developed a theory of cognitive development that focused on the intellectual development of children. So Piaget's concept, known as the Piaget stages of cognitive development, highlights the ways in which mental capacities change from the childhood to the maturity. Tulad nga rin po ng mga sinasabi po ni Mr. Pakatang kanina is yung may 4 stages po si Piaget. So his theory of cognitive development outlines the four stages that children go through as they develop their thinking and the understanding of the world. So Piaget's stages illustrates how biological maturation and environmental experiences lead to a progressive restructuring of their mental processes during a cognitive development. And these stages build upon one another. It established the foundation for their increasingly and sophisticated cognitive abilities. So in simple terms, yung cognitive, just reminder, yung cognitive development involves the development of their thinking, the reasoning, and the problem solving, as well as the memory of one's. And for the language development, this includes the ability to understand and the use of different language. And lastly, for the learning, this is the acquisition of knowledge and skills. And lastly, furthermore, emotional growth such as the self-control and understanding is an essential for the overall mental development, influencing both personal relationships and the well-being of one person. So that's all. Thank you.
So, good morning, everyone. So, thank you, Mr. Eugenio, for your report. Next is cognitive development. So, human development is a complex and multifaceted process with various aspects intertwining and influencing one another. So, guys, this discussion will explore the interconnectedness of language development and learning. So, language development, or simply we called a gateway to learning. Language development is not merely about acquiring vocabulary and grammar. It is a powerful tool for learning and understanding the world. So, ang language development, guys, hindi lang siya nagsistik para matuto ng mga salita or grammars. Importante to para sa pag-aaral natin or most especially para matuto tayong makipag-communicate sa ibang tao. Okay, so cognitive development or pag-unlad ng kaisipan. Language provides a framework for organizing thoughts, expressing ideas, and engaging in complex reasoning. So, nagbibigay siya ng paraan para maayos ang mga iniisip or mga ideas natin. Children who develop language skills early often exhibit better cognitive abilities, including problem solving, memory, and abstract thinking. So, yung mga batang maagang natututo ng um, wika, sila rin yung madalas na magaling sa paglutas ng mga problema or mabilis silang makatanda at makapag-isip ng mga bagay-bagay. Next is social interaction. Language is a primary means of communication and social interaction. So, ang wika, ang pangunahin nating paraan sa pakikipag-usap at pakikisalamuha sa ibang tao, di ba po? Developing language skills allows children to build relationships, express emotions, and participate in social groups. This social interaction, in turn, fosters further language development and learning. So, sa pamamagitan pala ng pakikipag-communicate natin sa ibang tao, mas umuunlad yung language or yung wika natin. Next, we have literacy skills or kakayanan sa pagbabasa at pagsusulat. Language development is a prerequisite for literacy. Children who have strong language foundations are better equipped to learn to read, write, and comprehend written texts. So, this open up a vast world of knowledge and learning opportunities. So, yung mga batang merong great foundation pala pagdating sa wika or language or yung mga batang mas maagang natututong magsalita, sila yung mga mabibilis matuto magbasa at magsulat. Okay po. Next, innate language acquisition. So, meron tayong two parts, universal grammar and critical period. So, first, universal grammar. Noam Chomsky theory of universal grammar suggests that humans are born with an innate ability to acquire language, a language acquisition device, or LAD. This innate capacity allows children to learn the complex rules of grammar and syntax with relative ease. So, ang theory na to ni Noam Chomsky, nagpapahiwatig siya na tayong mga tao ay pinanganak na may likas na kakayanan na paunlarin yung sariling wika natin. Parang may learning machine na sa utak natin na tumutulong sa atin para maunawaan yung mga salita or yung grammar. Next, pangalawa, yung critical period. Research suggests that there is a critical period for language acquisition, typically during early childhood, where the brain is most receptive to learning language. After this period, language acquisition becomes more challenging. So, sinasabi dito guys na mas madaling matutong magsalita kapag bata pa tayo. Compare pag mas lumaki na tayo, mas nagiging complicated matuto ng bagong wika. Next is, so yan guys yung two parts of universal grammar, the critical period and the universal grammar and the critical period. Okay, next, the role of environment. First, meron din tayong dalawa dito guys, the exposure and interaction and then the reinforcement. So, dito muna tayo sa exposure and interaction. While innate abilities are crucial, environmental factors like exposure to language and interaction with others are essential for language development. Children learn language through listening, observing, and interacting with those around them. So, mahalaga ang pakikinig at pakikisalamuha ng mga tao para matutong magsalita. Parang natututo tayo sa pamamagitan ng panonood or pakikipaglaro natin sa iba, pakikipag-communicate, ganun po. Next is, punta naman tayo sa reinforcement. Skinner's behaviorist theory emphasizes the role of reinforcement in language acquisition. Children learn to associate words with meanings through positive reinforcement, such as receiving a smile or a desired object when they use a word correctly. So, dito naman, parang nai-inspire na mas nai-inspire yung mga bata mas matuto ng iba pang words sa pamamagitan ng taong nagbibigay sa kanila ng gusto nila. Like for example, yung parents natin, di ba, nung bata pa tayo, kapag may mga bago tayong natututunan na salita, nagbibigay sila ng reward, something like that. Parang reward system para matuto tayo, ganon. Okay, next, stages of language development. So, paano nga ba natututong magsalita ang mga bata? So, first is early vocalizations. Infants begin cooing and bubbling almost immediately after birth, experimenting with sounds and developing the motor skills needed for speech. So, ito yung mga sounds. Diba yung mga baby, kahit bagong panganak pa lang, nagsisimula na silang mag-ingay or gumagawa sila ng sounds. Yun pala guys, para matuto silang magsalita. So, even though wala pa silang alam na words, marunong na silang gumawa ng sounds or ingay. Next is first words. Around 12 months, infants typically start saying their first words. These words are often simple and refer to familiar objects or people. So, yung 12 months, katumbas siya ng 1-year-old na baby. So, sa gantong age, nagsisimula na silang matuto ng mga simple words like mama or papa, di ba? Or usually, guys, di ba, unang natututunan nila yung salitang no, di ba? Mostly sa mga bata. Next is two-word phrases. Between 18 to 24 months, children begin combining words into simple two-word phrases. Sila naman yung mga 2 years old na. So, kaya na nilang makipag-usap gamit ang two words. Like, hindi pa talaga siya ganun ka-complete sentence, pero kaya nang maintindihan. Like, for example, nanghihingi na gatas. Anong usually sinasabi, di ba? Mga sinasabi nila, usually, di ba, mama gatas or mama dede, di ba po? So, two words lang, pero kaya na nating maintindihan. Mas naiintindihan na natin yung sinasabi nila. Next is, the last is the sentence development. As children progress, their sentences becomes more complex, incorporating more words and grammatical structures. They start using prepositions, articles, and more complex verb tenses. So, dito sa stage na to, mas nade-develop na yung pakikipag-communicate ng isang bata. Kaya na nilang makipag-usap using a complete sentence. Acknowledge your mistakes. Ayan guys. Kaya na nilang makipag-usap gamit using a complete sentence. So, mas maiintindihan na natin sila kasi nga, kaya na hindi na sila, wala na sila sa two-word phrases. Kaya na nilang makipag-usap through sentence. Next is beyond words or higit pa sa pagsasalita. Ito ay tinatawag nating pragmatics at contextual information. So sa pragmatics and the contextual information of pragmatics, sorry. Okay, so language development also involves learning the social rules of communication known as pragmatics. So this includes understanding turn-taking, staying on topic, and using appropriate tone and volume. So this is the contextual information. Children learn to interpret language based on context, considering non-verbal cues and background knowledge. So dito, natututo silang maunawaan yung mga salita batay sa situation. Parang nagbabasa sila ng context para mas maintindihan nila yung sinasabi. So, ayun, sa pamamagitan nun, na-absorb nila kung paano nila uunawain yung sinasabi. Okay, cognitive development and language. Okay, meron tayo dito theory ni Piaget's theory. So, Jean Piaget's cognitive development theory suggests that language development is closely tied to cognitive development. Children's ability to understand and use language is influenced by their stage of cognitive development. So, sabi nga sa theory ni Jean Piaget, parang connected yung pag-grow ng language natin sa pag-grow ng knowledge or kaisipan natin. Yung ability ng bata na intindihin at gamitin yung language is nakaka-apekto rin sa pag-unlad ng kaisipan natin. Malinaw po? Okay, next is Vygotsky theory. So, Lev Vygotsky sociocultural theory emphasizes the role of social interaction in guided learning and language development. He proposed that children learn language through interaction with others, particularly those who are more knowledgeable. So, dito naman, sa theory na to ni Vygotsky, sinasabi na ang bata raw ay natututo ng wika sa pamamagitan ng pakikisalamuha sa iba, lalo na sa may mga mas alam. So, mas natututo sila kapag nakikipag-communicate sila like sa mga mas matanda. Ganon. Next, we have 3 concepts of educational approaches aimed at students' learning. So, ito yung mga strategies sa edukasyon para ma-improve yung pag-aaral ng mga students. First is early intervention. Early intervention programs that address physical, language, and cognitive development can help children reach their full potential. So, ito yung tungkol sa pagtulong or pagsuporta ng mga batang possible na magkaroon ng problema sa pag-grow. Di ba po? Ginagawa to agad para ma-prevent or ma-lessen yung negative effects ng mga issue. Like, for example, kasi pag di siya na-prevent, pwedeng mag-therapy yung bata. Like, speech therapy or special education, ganon. Familiar naman po siguro kayo sa ganon. Next is individualized learning, recognizing the unique development pathways of each child is crucial for providing individualized learning experiences that cater to their specific needs. So, dito sa individualized learning, ano siya, parang isang teaching approach na nagtutailor ng lessons at methods based sa needs ng bata or ng students. So, parang personal learning din siya na iniiba nila yung lesson, parang gumagawa sila ng sariling lesson para de- base sa pangangailangan ng bata kung ano ba yung fit sa kanya dapat. The last is multimodal learning. Encouraging multimodal learning, which involves engaging multiple senses and learning modalities, can enhance learning outcomes and promote holistic development. So, ito naman yung teaching approach na gumagamit ng iba't ibang paraan para i-deliver yung info like visual, auditory, ano pa ba, kinesthetic, and digital. So, ayun guys. For our conclusion, language development and learning are intertwined, each playing a vital role in shaping the other. By understanding this complex interplay, we can create environments that supports optimal development and foster a lifelong love of learning. So, ang language at learning development, hindi po siya pwedeng paghiwalayin. Okay po? This can help us to grow and improve. So, sa pamamagitan pala nito, natutulungan ng mga bata na lumaki ng maayos at maging successful. All we have to do is to support them in terms of playing, hayaan silang malayang makapaglaro at makipagsalamuha sa ibang tao. Of course, pagsuporta sa pag-aaral ng language nila and also sa pag-create ng masaya at engaging na classroom kapag nag-aaral na sila, kapag nasa stage na sila ng pag pumapasok na sila or nag-aaral na sila. So, sino nga ba yung makakatulong sa kanila? Siyempre, pangunahin ang parents or guardian nila and teachers na gustong tulungan ang yung bawat bata na mag-grow at mag-thrive. So, yun lang po. Thank you po. May I call on Miss Kuyos?
Thank you, Miss Sata. So, pa-next slide po. Thank you. So, can someone answer the activity given? Thank you, Mr. Pakatang and Miss Guarino. So, emotional development is the process of understanding, expressing, and managing emotions. This involves the development of a person's feelings, emotions, and their ability to understand, express, and how they manage them. It includes aspects like self awareness, empathy, and emotional regulation. Sige. Understanding emotions. This involves recognizing and understanding one's own and others' feeling. So, can I ask Miss Guarino, what is emotion in your own words? Thank you.
So for me, emotions are these feelings na nararamdaman natin when we undergo certain circumstances in life.
Is there difference between feelings and emotion, Miss Guarino?
I think there are, pero I am not sure if what are those difference po.
So thank you, Guarino, for your answer. So going back, emotion is an outward expression of an internal state created by an interaction with one's environment. Emotion drives us to action, allows us to have a communication with others, and to understand them better. So here, we have what we call the basic emotions or primary emotions. So, ano po ba yung mga nalalaman nyo or mga alam nyo na basic emotion na nararamdaman ng tao? Can you give me one? Like for example, sadness, fear, yes, joy, anger, yes. Meron pa po ba? Yes, disgust. So, siguro wala na pong sasagot. So, yon sadness nga po. So, kailan po ba natin nararamdaman yung sadness? So, magbibigay po ako ng example. So, kapag yung magulang po natin is aalis and nagkakaroon tayo ng parang gusto natin ng ice cream. Pero, pag uwi nila, wait lang po. Pero pag uwi po nila, wala silang dalang ice cream. So, ano yung mararamdaman natin? It's sadness or pwede ding inggit. Oh. Pwede rin. Pero wala naman siguro siyang kakainggitan. Pero pwede rin. Or... So, next is yung sinabi ni Pakatang, fear. So, I will ask someone ulit kung ano yung difference between fear and afraid. Can you answer, Mr. Escalicas? Yes po. Yung difference po between fear.
So, pwede po ba ako yung umako?
Okay.
So, sa feeling ko lang, si fear po is naka-associate po siya kay uncertainty. And alam naman po natin na primordial fear po si uncertainty. And si afraid naman po, parang nagbe-base ka na po sa experience. Like, kunyari, nasaktan na ako dito, means tatry mo na lumayo. Parang ganun po siguro.
Yes, oo, yes. Wait lang. So, fear means kinakatakutan mo. For example, fearing failure in life. So, due sa mga decision mo, kailangan maayos yung decision mo para hindi ka magkaroon ng fear na mag-failure ka in life. While yung afraid is an acute emotion na nagre-respond sa specific situation, kagaya ng sabi ni Mr. Pakatang, isa siyang event na nangyayari. So, it's sudden, bigla ang nararamdaman. So, the next one is feeling of being interested or surprised. So, going back, yung sinabi ko kanina na, ibahin naman natin yung situation. Umalis yung magulang mo and wala ka namang hinihingi, pero pagbalik nila, may dala silang pasalubong. Anong mararamdaman mo? Can anyone guess? No po. Ano po yung mararamdaman po natin kapag may pasalubong po na unexpected yung magulang natin? Kunyari, galing trabaho. Miss Guarino? Excited?
So,
Yeah.
ayun, excited nga and syempre matutuwa ka kasi meron ngang regalo or may pasalubong yung parents mo from work.
Yes, ayun, exactly. And also yan, Escalikas, thank you, appreciation and surprise. So, feeling of being interested or surprise, syempre, magkakaroon ka ng feeling surprise kasi hindi mo ine-expect na, ay, binigyan ako ng mama ng ice cream, binigyan niya ako or binala niya ako ng bag. Syempre, matutuwa ka. So, The next one is disgust or disapproval or dislike. So, di ba yung yung sa Inside Out, yung sinabi ni, ay, tatanong ko si Miss Guarino, mukhang napanood niya yung Inside Out eh. So, ano yung na-observe mo kay disgust, Miss Guarino?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat yung question? Medyo nag-choppy sa end ko.
Ah, yung disgust from Inside Out movie, ano yung na-observe mo sa emotion or feeling disgusted?
Mm, parang disgust kasi is related to things na hindi mo gusto or parang yun nga hindi mo gusto. Most likely kasi nakikita siya sa food katulad nung pinoportray dun sa movie na ayaw ni nung bata dun sa broccolis kaya green si disgust dun.
Yes. So, meron tayong ayaw, no? Parang ayaw natin. Kapag feeling na may ayaw tayo, parang para tayong nandidire, ganon. Parang nagiging maarte tayo kasi hindi natin gusto yung bagay na yon. So, ang pang-apat is happiness. So, pwede ba kayo mag-share ng situation or nangyari sa buhay nyo na nakaramdam kayo ng happiness? Mr. Escalicas. Pag suspended yung pasok. So, maliban doon, 'di ba, ang dami nating pwedeng pagkuhanan ng happiness. Hindi lang sa situation na ganon. Pwede din sa tao, 'di ba? Pwede din sa aso, sa pusa. 'Di ba natutuwa na tayo kapag nandiyan yung pusa natin? Parang wala siyang ginagawa pero makukyutan ka sa kanya. Natutuwa ka. Ganon. So, ang last is anger. So, kadalasan nating nararamdaman yung anger kapag hindi natin nagugustuhan yung ginagawa sa atin ng tao. For example, binabackstab tayo. Ayun. Gawin nating example yan. Parang wait lang. Parang, alam mo yun, yung binabackstab ka ng tao, hindi mo alam, yung parang napaka-fear mo sa kanya, tapos nagulat ka na lang na nalaman mo na ganito pala ang kwento niya sa kabilang side. So, yun. Pwede. So, meron din tayong, we also have secondary or self-conscious emotions, which is the embarrassment, shame, guilt, and pride. So, nagkakaroon ka ng self-hate or dishonor sa sarili mo kapag you feel ashamed. So, sa embarrassment, ano yung pwede niyong maibigay na example dito? Can I ask Miss Marikina?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? Medyo kasi may ginawa kasi ako kanina.
Okay po. Yung embarrassment po, pwede po ba kayong magbigay ng situation or nangyari sa buhay nyo na naka-feel kayo ng embarrassment?
Ay, so ayun, yung na-feel ko na yung embarrassment ko is yung parang, ano ba to, parang, like, parang may nag-invite sa akin na friend. So, sa isang party, parang something ganun. Tapos parang pagdating ko dun, so parang yung pala parang may nakalagay na list ng mga guests. Kumbaga parang friend invitation lang pala yung nangyari nun sa akin. So, nung pagdating ko dun, so nagulat lang ako na parang may hinahanap yung name ko, like parang kinuha yung pangalan ko. Tapos parang na-feel ko na parang na-embarrass. So, parang napahiya ako na pumunta ako dun whether na hindi pala ako invited talaga dun sa party na yun. So parang, dun lang, parang dun ko na-feel yung embarrassment ko dun sa sarili ko na parang next time parang ayoko na agad sumama sa mga ganyan. Like, wala namang formal invitation talaga na bigay. So yun yung parang isa sa example ko.
So, thank you for sharing, Miss Marikina. So, yan yung example ng nung hindi ka naman yung parang in-invite ka ng friend mo, pero hinahanap pa rin yung yung name mo sa list, which is not typically invited talaga. So, wait lang. So, embarrassment, kunwari, may organization kang ginawa or kasali ka sa organization, ikaw yung nag-lead. Tapos, ang dami mong effort, sacrifices, then, sa isang bula, nagkaroon ng problema na hindi mo inaasahan. So, yung mga taong nag-e-expect sa'yo, parang may mga sinasabi sila sa'yo na parang ginajudge ka nila yung pag-take mo or pag-lead mo ng organization. You will feel embarrassed or shame. Ayun. So, the next one is guilt. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng feeling na guilt kapag may nagagawa tayong hindi tayo sure or parang hindi talaga, maybe nagawa natin unexpected, pero yung guilt kasi nararamdaman natin. Kunwari, for example, wait lang. Parang nagiging bias ka sa isang friend mo while, kunwari, trio kayo. Yung isa, close mo yung isa, tapos yung isa parang na-OP siya, pero ang dami niyang na-share na problem sa'yo. So parang nagigilty ka kasi yung mga na-share niya na problem sa'yo or mga secrets na sabi mo sa isa, parang ang dating nun, di ba, like, magigilt ka kasi, ay, bakit ko sinabi? Ganyan kasi sekreto yun eh. Di ba ang secret lang, hindi naman na ibubungkal or nasasabi sa ibang tao. So, you will feel guilty. So, yun. And the last one is pride. So, emotions are characterized by three, which is neutral and physiological responses, such as activation in the amygdala and an increased heart rate when you're afraid. So, this amygdala is activated by neural signals, and the stress are being indicated here means it is a response or signals for your brain to pump stress hormones, preparing your body for either survival and for safety. So, aside from that, when you're afraid, we normally feel or you normally feel your heart like it's being increased, right? So, that is part of your emotion. So the number two is subjective feelings such as your own appraisal kung paano at bakit nararamdaman mo yung feeling afraid. And the last one is number three, facial expression. So, di ba, sa facial expression, madami tayong sa tao. Like, ang facial expression mo sa ganito, kunwari, mukha siyang masungit. Naiisip mo, mukha siyang masungit. Pero, pag nakilala mo na siya, hindi pala talaga siya ganon. Ayun. So, for example pa dyan is, yung afraid ka, yung eyes mo is nag-widen. So, yun. So, according to McCann and Roberts, 2008, they said that understanding emotion involves having a good implicit theory, means capable of being understood from something else, though unexpressed or implied, about why people feel what they feel. Understand the distinction among emotions, the causes and consequences of specific emotions, and transition between them. So, it's theory of mind, the ability to understand what another person is thinking and feeling based on rules for how, wait lang, for how one should think or feel, psychology today says. This theory is suggesting that we, humans, can use cognitive thought processes to explain the mental state of others, and this cognitive thought process means the mental process that humans use to think, read, learn, remember, reason, pay attention, and ultimately comprehend information and turn it into knowledge. And pwede rin itong mga knowledge na to is maging decision making. Parang makatulong siya sa pagdedesisyon mo sa buhay or paggawa ng actions. So, can I call Mr. Dan to explain the following managing emotion and developing self-esteem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Kuyos, for reporting understanding emotions. So let's proceed. Managing emotions. So managing emotion means having the skills to deal with your emotions before they become overwhelming and to stop you to from taking positive actions. So kayo guys, kapag nagma-manage kayo ng emotion niyo, paano niyo siya mina-manage when it comes to intense or overwhelming emotions po? May mabibigay ba example? Okay, Miss Green, no?
Ayan, Guarina po. So, for me, pag i-manage ko yung emotions ko, I would remove myself dun sa situation na overstimulating or overwhelming for me. Then, I would take a breath or take my time na i-process muna yung emotion ko kasi I don't want to make unnecessary na decision and baka mag-make pa ako ng mistake or makasakit ako ng ibang tao in the process of rushing things over.
Okay, thank you. So, ayun nga, no, sabi po ni Miss Girari, no? Sabi niya po is, pinag-iisipan niya daw muna. So, take a look the impact of our emotions. No? Take a breath, know how and when to express ourselves. So, accept your emotions and all of them because lahat naman ng emotion are valid. But it depends on how we react and how we can take it. And then, just like for example, yung pagsigaw, di ba, nalalabas natin yung emotion natin kapag sumisigaw tayo and let yourself cry. Din minsan, lalabas na natin sa pag-iyak tuwing 10 p.m., gano'n, nagbe-breakdown sa 10 p.m. Ayun. Tapos, minsan, kumukuha tayo ng ibang tao para magsabi ng mga problem para malabas natin yung mga emotions natin na hindi natin malabas. And after nun, di ba magaan siya sa feelings kapag nalalabas natin yung mga bad feelings natin, yung mabibigat sa loob natin kapag may taong nandyan para sa atin. And for example, may incoming exam ka tapos hiniwalayan ka ng jowa mo. Paano niyo siya i-manage 'yon? Like, 'di ba, sobrang distraction niya kapag ganun. Kapag may incoming exams ka tapos sasabay pa yung family problem and yung jowa makikipaghiwalay. Okay, Miss Kuyos?
Yung sa akin, naranasan ko kasi yan eh, dati. Nung nag-exam ako sa URS, sa University of, ano tawag dito? University of Rizal System. Yung nangyari nun kasi, basta nakipag-break siya nung mag-review pa lang ako kasi exam ko tomorrow. Tapos, sa akin kasi, since nag-cheat naman siya sa akin, pinayagan ko na. Pero hindi ako may iyak habang nag-review. Sabi ko, parang nagalit lang ako sa kanya. Nagalit lang ako. Sabi ko, hindi ako iiyak sa'yo, ganun. Hindi kita iiyakan, ganun. Kasi, ba't kita iiyakan? Niloko mo na nga ako, iiyak pa ako. Ganyan. Parang, iniisip ko na, parang hindi worth it yung luha ko para sa taong yun. So, ang mas worth it, parang naiisip kong mas worth it is mag-review ako sa, sa upcoming exam nga namin para makapasa ako. Pero hindi ako nakapasa. Kasi, nakapasa ako sa exam, pero yung interview kasi is, hindi ko masyadong na-review yun kasi suddenly lang, parang unexpected. So, ayun, bumagsak ako doon.
Okay, thank you for sharing, Miss Kuyos. So, ayun nga, no, naka-experience si Miss Kuyos ng mga ganong scenario. So, ang hirap niya, actually, ako din nakaranas din ako ng ganon. Pero, para sa akin is, naging lesson siya. Naging lesson siya sa atin, di ba? Lahat naman ng mistakes natin is nagiging lesson. And paano natin, nakadepende sa atin siya kung paano natin sila dadalhin and paano natin sila gagawa ng action. So, let's proceed to developing self-esteem. So, self-esteem means this is how you feel about yourself as a person. So kayo guys, anong mas nagpapabigay sa inyo ng confident? Okay, Mr. Pakatang.
Kanina ko pagsasabihin 'to, eh. Eto po, assurance.
Okay, assurance. Tama, assurance. Wait lang. Okay. Sa assurance, no, lahat naman tayo need and gusto ng assurance, 'di ba? Sa lahat ng bagay, sa pera, sa love life, sa lahat ng bagay para masiguro natin na totoo yung intention ng isang tao or ng isang bagay. For example, get to know yourself, what makes you happy and what you value in your life. Say, say positive things to yourself. And nakaranas na ba kayo guys ng uh, nawawalan ng confidence dahil sa isang tao, ganon, parang dinadown kayo or may nagpupush sa inyo pababa, yung ganon. Anyone can share? Sige, nalabas niyo na lahat ng ng emotions, ng nararamdaman. I-open niyo na dito. Wala namang maling sagot. Okay, Mr. Pakatang.
So, often kong ginagawang basihan diyan na it's either tumataas yung self-esteem ko or nababawasan kapag po kinokompara ko yung sarili ko sa ibang tao. And nag-research po ako diyan para malabanan 'yan, share ko na rin 'to. And may nabasa po ako na parang statement po siya. Ayan, sabi po do'n, comparison is a thief of joy. Meaning, even though mas magaling si ganito sa'yo, mas mababa ay ganyan, inferior ka, it doesn't mean na hindi mo deserve ng love. Parang ganun po.
Okay, Miss Laika, may share ka po. Okay, thank you Mr. Pakatang for sharing.
Ayun, based sa observations ko, tawag dito, if someone na parang biglang may masasabi sa yung mali na hindi naman talaga like, hindi, ganito na lang, ibibigay ko na lang. For example, merong, kunwari, parang professor na biglang kinutya yung appearance mo. Hindi nangyari sa akin pero yun, like, hindi kinutya, pero may pinansin about appearance mo na naka-hurt sa feelings mo, that would degrade your self-esteem. Kasi syempre, appearance natin is napapakita natin sa ibang tao and sometimes hindi natin na-change yun. So, isa yun sa mga factors na pwedeng magpababa ng self-esteem ng isang tao.
Okay, thank you Miss Laika. So ayun no, malaki talagang impact sa atin. Actually lahat naman tayo, 'di ba? When it comes to appearance or physically, pag kinukutya or kahit sabihin natin na joke lang siya, syempre yung impact sa atin nun, lalo na yung insecurities natin is kapag yun talaga yung pinoint out is nakakababa siya ng self-confidence and self-esteem. Tama ba? So ayun, relate ako sa sinabi ni Miss Laika is yung mga professor na insensitive pagdating sa ganong estilo nila ng pupuna sa mga students. Lalo na hindi naman nila alam yung mga background ng yung ancestry ng students nila kapag kapag pinupunan nila yung mga students nila. And then ayun, maging sensitive tayo sa mga sinasabi or jokes natin sa ibang tao kasi can affect sobra sa tao. And ayan lang. Thank you. May I call Miss Laika for next reporting?
So, thank you, Ms. Quiz and Mr. Fernandez for that wonderful report. So, for the next one, can someone please complete the word and please type it on the comment box? Yon, thank you sa mga nagsagot. Next slide, please. So, As you have typed in in the comment box, social development, it means the ability to interact effectively and appropriately with others. So basically, we would be tackling more centered than sa society in this kind of development. Next slide. So yeah, there are three main points in this part po. So, interpersonal relationship. When we say interpersonal relationship, what do you think it means, Mr. Pakatang?
Ay, sorry. Dalawa pala yung nakamute sa akin. So, interpersonal relationships po involves ourselves in a certain society like po. Tayo dito. So, magsisimula sa akin, makakasalamuha po ako sa inyo ng mga group members ko. Parang ganun po. So, connections po pala. Ayun. The main word po is connections.
Yan, very good. That is correct. So basically, yung interpersonal relationship natin talks about yung connections natin with other people. Pero ayun, pero saan ba talaga muna nagro-root yung interpersonal relationship natin? So why do we interact with other people? Based doon sa interpersonal behavior theory na pinopose ni Carl Rogers noong 1950s, kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng social interaction with other people and nag-guide yun sa behavior natin is because we have the needs and expectation na nakaka-relate dun sa ibang tao. For example, yun nga, nung baby tayo, need natin ng guidance ng mother natin, right? So, they would be the only person who would understand yung mga needs natin. So, basically, we have an interpersonal relationship with our mother. So, anyone else na pwedeng makapagbigay ng example ng isang interpersonal relationship na meron sila ngayon? Sige, random call tayo. Miss Zata, Lorraine Zata po. Can you please give an example of an interpersonal relationship na nararanasan nyo currently in your life?
Sorry, nakamute pala ako. So, ano po ulit yung tanong? Pakiulit.
Can you give me an example of interpersonal relationships you have currently in your life?
Family relationship po ba? Ganun.
Yes, that is correct. For example then, another example is yung friends natin. Why do we need to keep in touch with our friends? Kasi we have to, di natin kaya mag-isa. We would be depressed, we would be an outcast in our society. Kasi we have to belong in a certain society nga. So, next one would be the social skills. So, social skills are the abilities used to communicate and interact effectively in a social context. So basically, yun yung mga skills na meron tayo that we use para magkaintindihan tayo with others. This includes verbal and nonverbal communication, empathy, patience, and yung ability natin na makinig, and tawag dito, and intindihin yung iba. So for the next points po, Mr. Escalicas.
So, thank you, Miss Guarino. So for the next and last point, which is socialization. No, see, socialization is there's so many different definitions, no, but particularly I chose this one. It is according to a book written in 2008 by Diana et al. Entitled "Sociology in Our Times: The Essentials." No. So, according to this book, socialization is the lifelong process of social interaction through which individuals acquire a self-identity and the physical, mental, and social skills needed for survival in society, no? So, it did mention na si socialization daw is a lifelong process which starts when you are born and pretty much naman, no, sa remains or throughout your life. And this learning process is affected by some factors, which is the one that helps us in internalizing the norms or ideologies of society, no? Na nagdi-differ naman on which community we live or grew up. Dito na involve si common knowledge like language, religion, skills, attitudes, and etc. So in factors, first we have our primary socialization, no? So in primary socialization, it involves our family, cousins, aunts. So pretty much all people that are close by, no, in early years of our life. Followed by secondary socializations, it involves naman yung sa schools, peer groups or friends, organizations, workplace, and even media and etc. No? And third and last one is resocialization, which is the process of learning new norms, values, and behaviors when an individual moves into a new social environment or role. This often involves unlearning old behaviors and adapting to new ones. So, for examples, joining religious groups or pagbabago ng relihiyon. So, which require naman, no, to adapt sa new values and practices ng religion na iyon. Also, places that affect our mental health. So, let's say prison, kulungan. That prison definitely have a significant effect on someone's behavior naman, di ba? So, in significance, no, it impacts, no, pretty much everything sa buhay natin on how you talk, do things, and stuff. So, for us to further understand it, let's take the study of James Coleman, for example. It is established in 1961. It's entitled The Adolescent Society, The Social Life of the Teenager and Its Impact on Education. So, I'm gonna read the summary, no, kasi medyo mahaba rin to, no. So, he began studying teenagers on how they interacted and how their social lives affected their education. He interviewed teens in 11 high schools in the Midwest, asking them questions about what social group they identified with and who else they considered members of their group. So, based on these interviews, no, Coleman identified 4 main social categories, which is familiar sa atin tong mga words na to. So, unang-una is nerds or yung mga smart-ass kids. Jocks or pretty similar sa nerds but in terms of athletics or sports. Leading crowd or yung popular kids or rich kids. And last, yung burnouts or sabihin natin school bukol. So, of course, these social categories na nag-produce ng social prescriptions, which is the behaviors that were expected of people in those groups. So, Coleman found that certain things were important to the members of certain groups, like being a good dancer, or smoking to be a burnout, having money to fit in as a leading crowd, and getting good grades or to be smart, to be considered a nerd, no? So, meron silang kanya-kanyang sabihin natin description. So, he also tested the students' IQs and assessed their grades. So, as expected, nerds leads the trend. And burnouts came last, no? Yung 2 is interchangeable naman, no? Since meron silang kanya-kanyang strengths naman. So it turned out that who you hang out with affected how well you did in school. So with that, I hope that we clearly understand the significance of socialization in our lives, no? Not just education, no? Because as I said, it's a lifelong process. It will continuously follow us as we progressively encounter new interactions and experiences in our life. So we better choose who we want to hang out with, no? And last, just additional, it's a theory, no? I think most of us is familiar na dito. It is called
Ano po ulit
The Looking Glass Self, no?
yung
By
question?
Charles Cooley. So, see Looking Glass Self, it's the process wherein individuals base their sense of self on how they believe others view them. So, in this theory naman
Ano po?
is
Pakiulit.
it takes the use of social
Naglalag.
interaction as a type of mirror, and people use the judgment they receive from others to measure their own worth, values, and behavior. So this theory, no, is very dependent on our appearance to others. So we kind of observe their reactions and behavior toward us, and thus affecting our own, no. So it kind of manipulate us. So to act accordingly depends on who is on our front, no, or based dun sa expectation nila in order to fit or just to be accepted, no. And with that, actually, that concludes our discussion about four major principles of human development. I would like to thank our honorable leader, Rin Sata, no, and each and every one of you guys, no, sa cooperation. I think naging successful naman tong discussion na to. So yun lang guys, no. Thank you.